I can just
Good morning, good evening, and welcome. You've reached the Fanatics of Film, and my name is Ben, and this is our awesome show called Blasterpiece Theater, and we love talking about Star Wars almost as much as we love watching the films. So, what do you guys think of the whole Kelly Marie Tran thing? I think it's a hoax. She hasn't said a word about it. That's the point, is that she hasn't said a word. Someone else claims this. And all of us, of course, are very sorry that if she was treated horribly. That is terrible. That is awful. And whoever did, if they did, it should be ashamed of themselves. But quite honestly, everybody gets ripped apart online all the time. I mean, I started this stupid YouTube channel. All I had was people yelling at me and telling me I'm stupid, calling me a baby all the time.
That's
I had some dude.
What's up? That's you. What's up? You know who you are.
Well, and that, doggone it, that's half the fun. But I mean, yeah, when you blur the line between a character and a human being, and and you actually get the position of being a troll from a blind seat where nobody can see you. That's a bunch of crap. I didn't think too much about it either. But then I went down the wormhole as well, and I just started thinking because Daisy Ridley actually took herself off social media, and I would probably do the same regardless of people like bad-mouthing me or not. I think just with the way Star Wars is right now, it's like I would just want to play backseat and observer to anything like that rather than... Because the moment you get into that ring, it would just consume the rest of your days.
And I'm actually
doing that all the time.
And I'm actually really glad you brought that up, because Daisy Ridley did say specifically... And when she did leave, everybody thought, oh no, she's been... And there was a false article that went out and said, oh no, she's been treated horribly, and that's why she left. And she said, no, I didn't. I left because I didn't want. She said specifically, and I'm paraphrasing, which is like, I don't want to have the rest of the world watch me grow up, type of thing. She didn't want to have the rest of the world watch her as she grew up, and that's fine. But the funny thing is that this thing came out a week after Han Solo tanked, right? And so that is the big issue here. Is this complete and utter slander? Is this something that was created by Lucasfilm employees? I think it was. I think Lucasfilm employees created this thing to get it out of the public eye.
To continue the agenda.
Get Han Solo's horrible failure out of the public eye and get everybody else against the fans. Against all of us white racists. And that's what they're deeming us. All diehard Star Wars fans who don't like The Last Jedi, they're white, fat racists sitting in their basement, and that's what all of them have been calling us.
I think you're right. I think it really is a direct attack on the fans. I feel like, they are being attacked a lot right now by the fans, and we do have a voice, and they feel a need to defend themselves, and they're doing it covertly by, setting up these ghost sites and making it seem like things are happening that are really not happening.
It was like a Facebook group that had 40 likes on it.
It's funny how just in this day and age now that we've got digital news and all these newspapers and big reputable companies that were actually had journalistic integrity back in the day have been now washed out by just the most instant clickbait news that one news group will report and then the next news group jumps on and creates a whole new thing. And I mean, reading through these things is just...
It's whack.
It's totally whack. I was an English major in college for a year. Didn't graduate, but I know enough of the English language and how composition and writing goes down to see just the absolute schlock of what's happening in these articles and just the regurgitation. It's like, dude, I don't know how anybody takes this as gospel.
That's gonna be our T-shirt, schlock, the absolute schlock.
Schlock Wars.
So, but we.
I like it. I like that.
But we are entering a cultural war, and that's the thing is that I was watching. If you guys get a chance, check out Mad TV. That's what they were talking about. We are entering a cultural war that's happening right now. I mean, anyone who has any criticism is called a racist. That is the problem. You are a racist pig if you do not like The Last Jedi, if you are not happy with what they've done to your childhood character. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to make a quick point of just...
Yeah, go ahead.
To end that last point is just how, completely instantaneous or supposedly reliable these particular news groups are, or you just see, a news story online and you think, oh, it's coming from a news organization, so it must have some sort of reputable, background.
And these writers are trash.
Well, the funny thing is, like, Star Wars fandom is such that there's such an outcry and so many voices that they're actually, throwing off this news. It's kind of humorous in a way. It just shows me just how powerful social media has gotten.
Yeah.
Over news in itself.
What about you guys?
I don't know. I think it's important to remember that Star Wars, there's a magic in Star Wars. We are talking about Star Wars because we love Star Wars. Because, it was always just supposed to be a story that's told, and it's a film, and it's something we enjoy. It doesn't need to be politicized. It doesn't need to be blown up and out of proportion like it is today. You see that because of money. Disney is just trying to make money off of it. They're not keeping it pure like it was in the beginning, I think,
I don't know, pure. I saw that whole, one of the quotes, I don't know who it was, but it was the universe is big enough to bring gay and lesbian,
John Kasdan.
Yeah, and you know what? It's the opposite. It's big enough to not even have to talk about that. It doesn't need to be there. I want to see the Force. I want to see the light versus the dark. I don't care about what color. Like Neil was saying, when you watch the originals, I never once as a kid was like, they're all white. No, there's Lando, there's aliens, there's Mon Mothma, there's Princess Leia, and the fact that they're trying to push it, it's like, dude, okay, we get it.
And the funny thing is, they could be there more, and that's fantastic.
And
throw
do it
gay
right.
characters in there, throw transgender, throw, whatever, pansexuals or something like that. But just throw them in there. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to make T-shirts about it. Just put them in there because it's a galaxy filled with humans and aliens and creatures of all shapes and sizes. So of course they're going to be there. But to then turn around and have to actually point it out and then belittle somebody for not for just saying, oh, they can't be there. It's just the name calling and that stupid crap is just really backfired the whole agenda.
It has to be
quite
more
honestly.
natural. Like you see, actually, in Star Trek, a lot of those, I guess, what became political commentaries because of Star Trek, just because the creators were able to put, Uhura in there, right? Without really saying directly or, without overdoing it. It just has to be a subtle,
like her.
this
and
is what the
Kirk
future. We would like
having
the future to be like this. We would like it to be like
kiss
this
on television.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they didn't announce it. They didn't
They
have
didn't
to wear
announce it.
a
They
T-shirt.
didn't make T-shirts.
They just did it.
They just did it, and it was cool because it was like, wow, this is actually, a step forward for everybody. This is what the creators would like to see us progress towards, is a more open society where there's not as much prejudice and things like that. So if they have that political agenda, they need to be a little bit more subtle about it and, not so overt and in your face.
Right? They could have made Haldo such a cool character. They could have, she could have been really rad, but nah, she's naggy, she's condescending, and the whole tension and problem was dude, you could have just talked about it. They could have made her a cool character.
Right.
Could have.
Yeah. It's a really
It was
sad.
forced. It was forced, and it was almost like the robot in L3.
L3.
So forced.
Yeah,
I found
what
it
did
comical,
you
but
think of-
it was funny in a way that she was so overtly
It was too
passionate
much.
about this, and then it's so funny, and I don't want to spoil anything, but she's basically the first victim of her own choices of starting a freaking robot.
Well, there's a whole theory online that originally it was that character online originally was a joke that the Lord and Miller had, where they were kind of making fun of SJWs in general because SJWs are only aware of themselves and their mission, which is to basically destroy everybody else around them. But as a result, it destroys everything. Okay, so this gets to the next thing. I'm glad because I want to move on from that. Yeah, L337 sucked ass. Worst character in the history of Star Wars. Period. No, I take that back. Well, no, yes.
Jar Jar? Hold on.
Worse than worse than Jar Jar. Actually, I'd have to say. Well, Jar Jar hung around for several movies,
Yeah,
so I think
Jar Jar
because of
also
the
made the vote for no confidence. Okay, so he kind of,
If he's a Sith, he's cool. All right? I'm just going to say that right now.
right? There's still some good debate on that.
I just struggle to believe that if Disney is at the helm, that Star Wars is ever going to be great. I
Yeah.
really, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not too enthused about the new films because, I just don't think Disney can do it justice. I really don't believe they've got the heart for it
you
these
guys,
days.
can we please make a tire that says "Please make Star"? Or can we make a tire that make Star Wars great
Make Star
again?
Wars great
Well,
again.
Make Star Wars great again. Oh my gosh!
So that is a thing. That's a real hashtag.
Is it?
That's yeah.
Is
It's
there
a real,
apparel
sure.
for it?
There's a
We
real
need
ha-
to jump on that.
I had
there's
no
a real,
idea.
there's a real hashtag that and
sure.
there's a real shirt too that says that, and it's all
want
Ethan.
it.
It's all Ethan Van Sciver, man. He's all talking about that. And
Make Star Wars great again. Just black with like a galaxy. There's stars everywhere. Maybe like a Millennium
Man.
Falcon in the background.
It's just like the title credits, like the same font. Make
Yeah.
Star Wars great again.
That's
oh
the
my
name.
Gosh.
Episode 10, Make Star Wars Great Again. Or whatever.
Right. We should do like a little fan film. We'll make that. Make like a 3-minute fan film. Like, help me, George. You're my only hope.
But yeah, that's why I'm not like rushing to the theaters to go see Solo. I mean, I just don't feel like they can really carry the legacy of Star Wars, honestly.
Well, we've had this discussion in past podcasts.
But I think this is good in the sense that it'll actually bring a lot more people who are real fans into more of the expanded universe, the books, what we're doing today, having fun, or eventually having fun with the X-wing game. Finding other ways to express our enjoyment for Star Wars rather than just the movies. And hopefully the fans won't completely lose heart with Star Wars, and they'll just start learning to create their own ways. Because I think the television shows are going to be the better things when we actually get into some of that particular storytelling. It sucks. It sucks to not see the movies.
It'll be interesting to see. This is just a weird thing. Knowing what has happened in The Last Jedi, it will really be bizarre to see this. The beginning of what happened. 5-6 years after Endor. Anyway, yeah, it's interesting to. I don't know. Are you guys? I don't know. I feel like my head's gonna fall off here. I don't know. Does anybody feel the same way?
Well, I feel like, there are ways to preserve your love for Star Wars. There are games out there. There's actually new ones coming out. That's actually a really cool way to express your love for Star Wars and share it with other people. Beyond that, I feel like, just kind of, hope for the future. I don't know, maybe Disney will sell it off once they realize all of its real, true fans aren't really supporting them anymore.
And they've kind of made their money back, so they could.
Yeah, true.
And Thomas, you are my rock in that. Thomas is always telling me, "Come on, man! I still have hope for Star Wars." So it reels me back in from my depression and wanting to go hang myself. But no, I'm kidding everybody.
There's going
supposed to be a
to be
joke.
that point like 40 years down the road where there's a bunch of Star Wars fans who are not even born at this point, just waiting for us to die off so that they can enjoy Star Wars. They're like,
And you guys out there, you hold the legacy from the beginning. I mean, even back in the 70s, there were people that were making Star Wars fan films. It was a thing. I mean, all over the place, right? So I feel like y'all carry the legacy that way, and I feel like also stay off the forums and trolling. I feel like that's not the best thing. Like, these people who are really actually actively working towards the destruction of Star Wars they're going to just use that as fodder. That's what they're doing already.
yeah,
It's
man,
time.
the fodder.
It's time to class it up. It's time to. That was actually two of my. I remember my points now. Yes, and don't let me forget Warhammer. We're going to talk about Warhammer briefly, but as Star Wars fans, you got to start classing it up, man. That's what we have to. If we're going to win anything, if we're going to get them to listen to us at all, we got to start classing it up. And we've got to start talking to Lucasfilm like real human beings and being really nice and just trying to figure out what's happening. It just honestly, I mean, I get it. People are upset. I want to tear heads off too. Everybody wants to go crazy. But honestly, I think that's in general what we need to do. We need to start classing it up as fans and start. We don't have to eat what they give us.
Yeah, totally.
Which simply means we can boycott and we can get together and boycott nicely. We don't have to be mean about it. We can boycott.
But yeah, if they're not going to be professional about it and they're the ones running Lucasfilm, at least us as fans can be professional and say, it's not that good. I'm not going to watch it. End of discussion.
Soft.
Yep.
Oh dang! I'm glad I took that focus.
Soft 3. Not quite in range, but Luke is coming into the game.
Coming in. We're coming in full throttle.
Luke is primed. He is now an official Jedi Knight. In his time on Dagobah.
I don't know, if we got Kylo in the game and a Special Forces tie, this is further along. He's definitely a master at this point.
Okay.